I remember the first time that I got a chance to be part of a large surprise gift was I was working for an organization, and there were some people who supported one of the offices in our organization. They were asking for very sizable gifts. These were six-figure gifts that were necessary for these items to support that office. And these individuals really loved what happened in this office, these supporters. But they wanted to do something different. They wanted to have fun with the giving. So they wanted to have this item delivered in a truck. And they wanted to have the people in the office somehow get invited out under false pretenses to come out to the truck. And the two donors wanted themselves and me to hide in the back of the truck. And when they got there, they would open up the door to the back of the truck, and the three of us would set off those little party poppers, and it would blow up, and the people would get a surprise, and they would see this very generous gift. Now, it was a very hot day when this happened. I think it was about 95 degrees, and in that van, I think it was about 105 degrees. And I will confess that my biggest concern was whether or not I was going to stay conscious long enough for the people to get out to the back of the van. But it worked. It worked seamlessly. Someone went out, again, under false pretenses. They convinced the people in the office to come out to the back of the van. We opened the door, and surprise, it was there. And we brought it in, and we set it up. And it was such a fun and joyful occasion. And it was a complete surprise. We were trying to raise money for these items in the office. So it wasn't something completely out of the blue. It was helping to advance the mission and to accomplish very specific goals and to get those items that were wanted and needed. And it was just so much fun to see the smiles on the face of those receiving the gift and the incredible smiles and joys of the givers as well. We hung around for about 2 hours as it was getting set up, and we kept laughing about it, joking about it, having fun. It was such a playful moment. And that's one of the joys of surprise giving. In fact, in my role over the years as a leader in a nonprofit organization, I received many surprise gifts. I remember one time where I received a phone call from an individual. He asked me 3 questions, and at the end he said, "I'd like to make $1 million gift." That's amazing. And that was quite the surprise for me. And I've also received envelopes from people that were just a surprise gift out of the blue. It wasn't part of the regular gift commitment, like a monthly gift, or some people give annually a certain amount. And many of those people will also send in surprise gifts. Maybe they read a letter and they're inspired by something that was said or something that's happening, and they just decide to send a surprise gift. And it's such a great, fun way to embrace the joy of generosity and giving. It breaks us out of our routine. It breaks us out of the daily habits. And it is quite incredible how many times I've been on the receiving side where our organization was in need of a special gift, and it came at just the right time. It leads to an incredible disposition of gratitude and thankfulness to the donor. And if you're a person of faith, a gratitude to God at work through the generosity of the donor. It's a pretty neat thing to experience. And it's also something that sticks in your memory. These are gifts that I will never forget. I've been the recipient of maybe 100 or 200 surprise gifts of this type over the years, possibly even more. And I'm pretty sure that if I sat down, I could write every single one of those. I don't think that I've forgotten a single one. They're memorable, they are joyful, and they're also the kind of thing that happens in really meaningful, authentic relationships between a generous person and an organization or a mission that they support, that they care about. After all, this is something that happens in many relationships, in our friendships and in marriages and in relationships with our children. Don't we surprise one another with acts of kindness and generosity because we care about them and we want to surprise them and we like to see them experience joy and we want to help them out in times of need. And so we surprise one another with giving. And that can absolutely be a meaningful part for a philosophy of generosity for any of us, whether you're giving in small amounts or in really large amounts. So if this intrigues you, the best thing to do is to test it out. why not consider making a surprise gift in the next week or month? Do your research, look around, look for someone that might be in need or something that you care about, someone you'd like to add a smile to their face and add some joy and bless and benefit that mission organization, and consider making that joyful surprise gift.